Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Yana, who doesn't know me yet. Today I would like to share with you 10 pluses and 5 minuses living in Russia. This is gonna be a kind of like a general video about living in Russia for those who ever wanted to move here and who's planning to live here, or maybe in future you would consider this country for like a short stop, or maybe like a couple of years living for a personal experience.
I've never known a love so steady. Even gold won't turn your tide. We flow together like an ocean, and I would have you anyway, dear. Any way your heart could bear, even if you had to leave me.
I was born in Russia, however, in my adulthood I lived most of my time in Dubai, and for the past 3 years I lived constantly and consistently in Russia, so I can judge about like modern Russia, developed Russia, how Russia really looks today. So let's start from the pluses and the minuses. We leave it at the end. So the first plus is of course infrastructure. Infrastructure of Russia is absolutely amazing. You have here airplanes, you have here trams, you have here trains, you have here buses, you have very fast taxis moving across Russia or inside the city. It's really affordable. So ordering Uber, it would cost you like around Moscow, could cost you like $5-10, like around the downtown of Moscow, like $5, going a little bit like longer trips, maybe like $10, and it's super fast. So you order it and in 2 to 5 minutes the taxi gonna be downstairs, and you don't need a car to move around the city. You can always use public transportation. It's safe, it's good, it's cheap, it's really top notch, I think. If you don't want to travel by airplanes, you can always choose a cheaper option, travel by trains. It's gonna be very long, maybe very boring, not a very fancy trip, but if you want to save money, there is always an option. Plus number 2, it's great food quality, restaurant qualities and cafe qualities. Russia produce so many different like food. We have farms, we grow our own food, we like to have our own gardens, and besides high quality ingredients, there is always a kind of a checkup procedure from the government to reassure the food is safe to eat, it's the best quality, the kitchens are more or less clean, or at least it fits into kind of a standard hygiene type of thing. So it's not like in Asia, you go to some restaurants and you don't know with which kind of sickness you're gonna end up. Of course, some situation happens here, but it's very rare, and if you go like to a proper restaurant, you can be like sure that you're gonna eat a good food. And the amount of amazing cuisines in Moscow and St. Petersburg is insane. You can find all types of restaurant, like a Peruvian, Indian, Chinese, Russian cuisine. So many really great spots for dinner or for business lunch or for breakfast. Like in Moscow, I know hundreds of awesome restaurants, and the prices also are very good if you compare with Europe, UK and the US with their like insane tips. The prices here is super affordable. The third plus, if you're living here, it's very easy business setup. So if you want to be a freelancer, or if you want to start your small business, besides like a super easy setup of your company, literally in like 5 or 10 minutes. If you're like freelancer, if you want to be like a small business owner, it could take maybe a little bit more effort, but in general it's super easy and you control everything on your phone. There are special apps for that. You don't need to go anywhere, or even if you need to go somewhere, it's always in your area. Plus the tax rates are insane. It's incredible. I don't know like why people waving about like how amazing taxes here and there in some completely random and nonsense country, whereas in Russia it's like 4% if you're freelancer. If you're like small business owner, it's like around 6%, and if you're like LLC, it's like 25%. So it really depends on the type of business, but most of the companies here, they pay for around like 6, maybe 10%. My parents, they're small business owners. They have like a cookie company, and I believe they do pay like a 6%, and I'm a freelancer. I pay 4%. And the government highly encourage people to build their own businesses and create their own companies, create their own products, and there is lots of grants from the like startups, small business owner companies. There's like so many like great things you can also benefit. I don't know about all of them, I never check them, but if you're just graduated from the university, definitely you can apply for many of such great programs. Plus number 4, it's a great quality of living. Talking about like the building apartments, here you can purchase a great apartment, like a business level, I mean like a business type apartment. It means it's like high quality, it's a premium quality. You can get like a really good deals for around 200,000 euros. Of course you can find like much cheaper, it depends on your budget, but I'm talking about like a very decent sized spacious apartment, not like a French 12 meters or 15 meters kind of apartment. I mean like a spacious family apartment you can definitely get for around like 150 to 200,000 euros. And of course like you can get like a more fancy, you can get much cheaper. It's really depends. And also you don't need to pay like a crazy like taxes for this apartment. Like for mine, I pay around like 50 euros a year, or maybe like even 40 euros a year, and the maintenance, like the monthly stuff, like you will need to pay for around like also 50 euros to 100 euros. It depends on the size of your apartment, how much water, how much electricity you use, and it's including the internet, I'm calculating. So you would pay, and it also depends on the seasons. In the winter it's usually a bit higher because of the heater. So for my apartment it's around, I think we pay like 80 euros, 70 euros. It's yeah, it really depends on the month how much you use like electricity and light and water, but yeah, somewhere around this price you're gonna pay. Buying an apartment in Russia, it's very affordable, it's very realistic, and there is like drawbacks to some of the points I'm talking, and I will be mentioning them in minuses, so definitely stay tuned. And the plus number 5, it's no bureaucracy, or almost no bureaucracy, comparing like to what I hear in Europe happening, you know, when you get like an appointment and you wait like 1 month or 3 months, and then they could just cancel your appointment, or because you didn't bring like one document, you need to wait another couple of months for it. Here it's lots of things quite automated, you know, to get your appointment is gonna be like the same week or the next week, getting like doctor's appointment, getting like any like a tax authority appointments or any type of things. Everything happening here as a clock. People working here, they have like proper working hours, and I feel like it's, if you want to get done something, you can definitely like get done this thing within a month for sure, you know. Like if it's like a big project here and there, like running, sometimes like when I travel for a long time, then I come back and I have like a lot of errands to do, and yeah, it could take some time, but it's always happening on the time you schedule. And if you, I don't know, didn't bring some like copy, they would find a way to print it for you in most of the cases. And lots of things you can do it online, you don't even need to go anywhere. Like 80% of the things you don't need to see anybody, you can do it. Like we have an app, and you can do through that app most of the things you need to do as a citizen. Point number 6, it's excellent medicine. I consider Russia to be a top-notch also medicine. Doctors here, they don't graduate with the mediocre kind of level of knowledge. Doctors here, they graduated with the top excellence and the top knowledge in their field, and they really study and they really practice, and it's very, very, very high level of their education. And when you go to the doctors here, you can find like a really good specialist, experts in the area you want. I feel like the medicine here is like one of the best. I like when I lived in Dubai, I visit there like some super fancy clinics with kind of should be like a good doctors, but it's horrible. Like the quality, like you pay a lot, but you get like zero to none like quality of service, like the long-lasting effect, or if they find like what's really happening, you know, when you need to do like some tests, analyze some things, the doctor are helpless. And I remember like I was going and paying some insane like money for like, I think it's called like American clinic, one of the top clinic in Dubai, and it's like seriously, if I would go here to the free clinic, I would get much more done free of charge, and they would find like what's wrong, how to treat it, they give you exact steps. I feel like the medicine here is outstanding, and it's kind of interchanging with the medicine in Germany. Many doctors, they also like go to Germany, get some also extra training, they're exchanging their expertise. So some of the very, very like rich family in Russia, when they want to do like a special kind of surgeries, sometimes they travel to Germany, but most of the things you can do it here, like especially like the regular like teeth, general checkup, general treatments, or like really 99% you can do it here. It's only maybe a few of rare medical procedure you really need to travel somewhere to find like even a better doctor, but all the best doctors are right here. And if you're like lucky to live here, you would definitely find your doctor with who you would be definitely like happy and pleased. Of course, when you live in a country, you build those kind of connection, or you get recommendations from the people who live in the country, and they already build this kind of like a networking in a way, or yeah, their list of good experts. Point number 7 is the size of the country. Russia is insanely big country, and it's you can find everything here. Like it's mind-blowing how big is the country and how much we have here inside the country. So basically you could be like quite happy without even traveling anywhere, because you get like everything here. Like St. Petersburg, it looks like Paris or Florence, and like Moscow maybe is kind of more of the northern parts of Europe, and of course like it has also like some Russian standings. Also we have like the south coast with beautiful like sea coast and nature. Most of the Russians, for some reason, they don't travel around Russia, but knowing that you can especially was like during the COVID, it was a very relaxing kind of feeling, because living in like a tiny like place where you have no freedom, no kind of like space, it's not nice in a way, and Russia like has all kind of space, forests, mountains, sea coast. So yeah, the country is enormous. Point number 8 is Russia is a democratic country, and I know like there is lots of propaganda in other countries about Russia, but the reality is it's a proper democracy, and you have a proper freedom of speech. You don't need to be afraid that you would be fired from your job if you express your opinion, or you can express with your like friends, families, with people you just met. You can like say your opinion. So I know some people, they say like, no, we have like heavy propaganda. I don't see it. Like I see like news from all over the world, and because of the recent event I had to watch some news, and I don't see it as like a heavy propaganda. It's just a reality check, kind of like it shows the really what's happening, and it doesn't really focus like on hating on another countries, as other country focusing so much on hating on Russia and doing everything possible to kind of making some ridiculous points, how like how we do not have like freedom of speech, or we're like suppressed, oppressed here. It's not true. People here, they feel like all the freedoms they want to feel. They can express their opinion without like being afraid, you know, to live here. So you can definitely say whatever you want to say, as long as it's true and honest opinion. If you're of course not like mentally sick or challenged, you definitely, I mean, as a normal regular person, you can definitely express in your workplace your opinions, and nobody gonna like do anything or like treat you any different for your opinion. Point number 9 is safety. I feel like Russia is extremely safe country. You don't need to worry about like walking here. In most of the cases, people not gonna steal anything. I know there is like a big case with it in Europe because of lots of immigration. We also have many immigrants, but in general it's not the case. Of course there is like a specific cases, but in general you would feel super safe walking with your fancy phone or whatever fancy camera you have, and nobody gonna kind of run on you or like hit you and try to steal your iPhone or whatever phone you got. It's definitely like nonsense. In most of the places I've been in Russia, I felt super safe. I didn't felt myself like in danger, somebody following me, somebody is like harassing me or anything. Of course, there is like a special like criminal cases as in any other places, but in general, during the day and even like at night, especially in Moscow, you can feel a super safe. I think Moscow has, especially downtown, so many like police patrolling, cameras everywhere, so it's almost impossible that something happened to you, and no matter if you're like a foreigner or you're Russian, you would be safe. I haven't heard of anything like happening with anybody, only from the news sometime when I do voice them. And point number 10, Russia is a fully functioning, self-functioning country. So Russia doesn't need basically anybody to function. And it's proven by pandemic, it's proven by recent events with more than like 10,000 sanctions. Nothing like really, everything works as a clock. Nothing really went out of order. It was like a little bit like a small setup in the beginning, but then everything functioning as a clock. We have like food, we have gas, petrol, like you name it, like heating options. Of course, we do like to trade and work with other countries. It's more kind of ideal situation, but if anything happening in the world, Russia can fully kind of support itself. It doesn't really need anybody. I ran out of memory on my camera. Even in the hardest circumstances, as it's happening right now with more than like 10,000 of sanctions, everything like available here, everything works here, everything fine here, people are fine here, so everything is kind of good. Businesses are booming and developing as hell. I don't know what's happening. It's like there is like used to be like a baby boom. I feel like now it's like a business boom, because people take over some markets which it's used to be for like some foreign companies, and now they have an opportunity to kind of take their places. And of course most of the companies, the smart people, they really use this time and they do take their places, and either like expanding their businesses or developing new lines, or making just new startups, new businesses. So yeah, the country is gonna function, and it's function perfectly fine no matter what's going on in the world, which it's a big plus, because you're gonna feel very safe and secure here no matter what. And this is why at the moment I'm here to feel safe and secure. It happened during the pandemic. I actually stayed here closer to my family. I expected to move out in the spring, but in the spring it was like the most shocking news I could ever imagine, or I could never actually imagine something like this happening. So yeah, my kind of moving dreams and ideas also moved. But anyway, let's talk about the minuses and why I actually want to move. And I want to move because of point number one, the biggest minus Russia has, the worst and the nasty minus. It's the climate. It's so harsh. The weather can like fluctuate so much. So 1 week it could be like plus 20 or 30, sunny, hot. I'm talking about Celsius. And the next week it could be like rain and strong wind, and then the other following week it could like snow. And not in the summer, like I'm just talking about like how rapidly seasons are changing. It's like from week to week you experience like such a tremendous change. And also like in the winter, sunlight, it's like only I think like 6 hours you get like of like a light. It's not even a sunlight, it's just kind of some kind of light. And another like worst scenario, there is like light all day and night. It doesn't like stop. It's only maybe like 2 hours, 2 dark hours, and then it's like light. I absolutely hate this stuff. And when it's like rainy or when it's like snowy, it's beautiful and fine for 1 week, but when you live in this condition you have to wear some just warm clothes. You cannot look fancy, you cannot wear nice shoes most of the time. Like some shoes you can only wear like a fancy one once a year, especially if you don't have a car. So everywhere like fancy you want to go, you have to like go with the car or with a taxi or wherever. You cannot just like walk on the street and expect yourself to arrive in a decent condition with the wind and the rain. If somebody hate weather in UK, when I travel to London, I find their weather to be absolutely nice and lovely. Or maybe I was just lucky, it was like sunny, even the fog is very beautiful. And here you get like such strong wind sometimes. It's like it would blow you away. You know, like gone with the wind. Here is literally you can be gone with the wind. So yeah, the weather, it's something like absolutely horrible. And the light also, like a daylight, it shifts so much. I also hate it, like from not having sun at all to having sun like 24/7. It's like, I remember like also in Dubai, it's actually very annoying when you have like too much sun. There is like a nice kind of sweet spot when it's sometimes cloudy, sometimes rain, most of the time sunny. In Dubai it's also like non-stop. You wake up 5 a.m., the sun is like right in your face. Although I do prefer Dubai weather much more than Russian weather, I enjoy it way more, but yeah, here the weather is the is the big yeah, I cannot say in another words. Another big minus here, if you have kids or you're gonna have kids in Russia who will be going to the school, like the state school here, it's not only like the buildings old and a bit scary, the treatments of the teacher, it's very harsh. Like the way they treat sometimes students, it's I don't know like how to explain. It's horrible. It's really horrible. Treat students like you're nobody, you're nothing. I'm like the authority. So when you go to the school, you might have like psychological trauma. Also, if you have a specific characteristic, you're gonna be much strong and nothing in this life if you went through Russian school would take you out of your life balance. So it's kind of like it's different for different characters of the kids. I mean, maybe it's like better some private schools, maybe it's like a better treatment. Also, my sister is going to a private school after having a big trauma in like a state school, and it really depends on the teacher. Recently, even that private school went so much like down and so much low, hiring some completely unprofessional from the place of treating the kids. System, I think, is too harsh for the kids. Also, if you went through the Russian school, you would definitely have very solid knowledge and very solid level of skills, but you may end up with a little bit of psychological trauma. The third minus is the clinics. I was talking about how amazing doctors here, but the drawback of this thing, the state clinics are regular hospital for regular people, for majority, they're not so fancy. Yes, you get the high quality of treatments and everything, but sometimes it's not like pleasant for the eye to enter it, and yeah, like also the customer service. It's like sometimes there is no customer service. Yeah, in the clinics could be a little bit rough, as in schools. So it's not always like pleasant to be in them. Also, there is lots of private clinics. Of course, you have to pay for those. If you want to get like a free treatment, you get like a little bit more in a basic kind of Soviet Union kind of style clinics. Of course, if you want to pay and you can pay, you can be in a much nicer clinic. Also, even like a fanciest clinic, it's kind of like a European standard, not like a Dubai standard or kind of a Miami standard type of thing. It's more like a European high quality standard clinics. That's like from the private ones. So this is what you get. This is how it looks like. Point number 4 is the high interest rate. So I was also talking about that you can buy in cash very easily apartment here or a building, or I mean like a house, a villa here. But if you're planning to take a mortgage, it's such a bad idea because the interest rates are so high. It's unrealistic, and I know that in Europe and US, people using mortgage to their financial advantage. Here it doesn't work this way. Here you buy stuff in cash. If you don't have cash, don't buy it. Better to buy stuff in cash. So that's like, I think it's huge minuses, but most of the people here, they do own their homes and they do have their properties, summer houses. I think 90% of people here, they own actually their properties, so there is no kind of trend of renting. Of course, in the big cities, Moscow, St. Petersburg, you find a lot of people like renting out, but those people, even who get those rents, they do own the properties in different cities. Like for example, they came from another city like maybe like Samara or Nizhny Novgorod, and they want to work in Moscow. Of course, they're gonna rent it out there, and they would find people who would rent there, but in most cases they would have their own properties in their like cities, or like own part of the properties, so kind of like a co-own, because when you're born you have to inherit some part of the property. And some parents, of course, they could like buy their kids their own apartments. I know like many, like in my city, many of such cases when parents, they invested and they buy their kids their own property. This is a super common thing here. But to come here as like a foreigner and take a mortgage, not a good idea. Sometimes they do some like a social programs where you could get like a better rates, or sometimes actually when you have kids you can cover, because with each child you get some kind of grants, a lot of money, and you can cover with that fund part of the apartment you're planning to buy. So this could be like a great idea after you become like a resident here, or if you're like married to a resident and she get a child, then you can like potentially buy from that money either an apartment, or put that money in the trust fund for the education of your child. So this is kind of the setup we are going here for. And the minus number 5 is a very harsh legal punishment. So if you're doing any kind of like criminal activities, any kind of like terrorist activities, you would be like punished heavily. And it's not a kind of a Scandinavian Norwegian type of prison. If you get like if you screw, you get screwed badly here. So this could be like a minus for people who like to earn their living from lying or from tricking other people. So this is definitely Russia, definitely not the place for you if you're kind of like any kind of criminal. Would be a very bad idea. I know like in Europe they're more kind of linear, or how they're like not so like harsh sometime on punishment, but here if the police find you with kind of like marijuana or something, so coming with marijuana from kind of like open mind Europe, Russia is not the place, or any kind of drugs. It's a very bad idea here. Of course people do, and of course there is like some cases you hear in the news, but if you're planning to come here and set up something like this, it's just terrible idea. Just don't do it, and better do not come. But if you're like a decent person who live like a decent life, and who like to work in a normal type of jobs, or like to own the business, Russia could be a great place to develop and grow the business, because market is incredible, is insane. Infrastructure is great, country has lots of pluses. Just make sure you have a couple of trips during the year out of Russia, so you can enjoy maybe like a sunshine in some other more sunny countries which you cannot do business. So in Russia it's like great to do business, but to rest you can like enjoy maybe Côte d'Azur, or most of Russian go like to Greece for the summer. So this would be the ideal setup. So thank you so much for watching. Please put thumbs up and put the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.